Being mindful of deception detection can help one stay safer in life. Accurately detecting deception can be a lifesaver. Greg Williams, the master negotiator and body language expert. Hello, and welcome to Greg Williams, the master negotiator and body language experts podcast. Micro, macro expressions deception detection. How to win more negotiations. People don't realize they're always negotiating. What value do you place in your negotiations on recognizing facial expressions that lift the veil that hides hidden thoughts, some of which might help in deception detection? Do you know how to accurately read the feelings and opinions that lurk in the recesses of someone's mind based on the micro expressions and macro expressions they display? By reading the other negotiators' micro expressions and macro expressions, you gain a more precise interpretation of their thoughts, along with the pending actions in which they may engage. And that awareness can help assist you in achieving more winning negotiation outcomes. Continue to gain insight into how you can use micro expressions and macro expressions to gain an advantage in your negotiations. You will also gain an understanding of how the two differ and the meaning of that difference. The difference between micro expressions and macro expressions. One of the specific differences between micro expressions and macro expressions is the length of time someone displays their gesture. The former is 1/4 to 1/2 of a second, and the latter is 1 second to 4 seconds. Another notable difference is one can easily miss micro expressions since they are fleeting and displayed involuntarily, and they also express concealed emotions. Since macro expressions are displayed longer than micro expressions, it is intentional. It is made voluntarily and can take on the appearance of matching the tone of spoken words. Thus, macro expressions may be easier to detect. But since they are voluntary gestures, the displayer may use them to mislead an opponent during negotiations. Deception detection. Some research has linked lying with facial and body language cues such as the expanded size of one's pupils, the direction in which one moves their upper body while speaking, and the degree to which one presses their lips. Studies also detailed how and when someone parses their words along with the tonality used to gather greater insight into their attempt at deception. Thus, observe the following signs during your deception detection during negotiations. Number 1, note the tone someone uses when they make statements or ask questions. In particular, examine how it may have changed compared to prior statements your counterpart made, and catalog the current tone to those that follow. The shifting of tonality, especially when discussing the same topic, will lend insight into the degree of comfort the speaker is experiencing. That comfort or discomfort may be shown through a quickening or slowing down in speech. To the degree that they begin to exhibit signs of uncomfortableness, note that possible deception may be at hand. Number 2, observe body movement when someone speaks. When a negotiator speaks, they do so from the level of comfort per their speaking topic. Accordingly, if they have a sense of inner discomfort, it will be displayed through the micro and macro expressions they exhibit. Expressions such as A. Displaying signs of contempt, one corner of the lip turned upward. If it is a micro expression, it will occur quickly. Thus, you must be observant to catch it. If it is a macro expression, it will linger on the displayer's face longer, and it may do so to cast a greater sense of unlikability per what the two of you are discussing. That may then lead to the deception that serves as a gateway for achieving that person's goal. B. sign of surprise. The facial expression of surprise is shown through raised eyebrows, mouth agape, and widened eyes. When someone displays a micro-expression of surprise, it will last about 1/4 of a second, and the appearance will be genuine surprise, not faked. Contrast that to your counterpart making the same facial display via a macro expression. That expression will linger on the person's face for more than 1 second, and it may be contrived to deceive you into thinking the emitter did so for other purposes, that being to manipulate you. Micro expressions, macro expressions, deception detection, putting it all together to increase negotiation abilities. One consideration about the different gestures to note is those displayed by someone's face and their body. Facial microexpressions are universal, meaning no matter where you are in the world, the display will be genuine. They are involuntary displays, and they reflect the current state of mind of the person displaying them. Thus, when someone attempts to express their actual state of mind, it will manifest itself through that person's facial actions. So, by being keenly aware of when someone shows a micro versus macro expression, you can gauge the intent of the other negotiator's thoughts. In the former, their appearance is not contrived. They are telling you through their display exactly what their emotional thoughts are, and that should be what guides your actions. On the other hand, when witnessing a macro expression, be mindful of its source. Some macro expressions can begin as micro expressions that morph into the former, meaning the micro expression that lingers too long becomes a macro expression. But that may not hide the fact that the displayer initially had the emotions of a micro expression, and they may be choosing to conceal thoughts. Thus, the expression morphs into a macro expression. Reflection. Every day, someone attempts to impose deceit upon us. But now that you have greater insight into the differences between micro expressions and macro expressions, along with how to use them in your negotiations, you will be better at deception detection. That will allow you to win more negotiations, and everything will be right with the world. Remember, you're always negotiating. Thank you for listening to Greg Williams, the Master Negotiator and Body Language Experts podcast. If you'd like to reach me, please do so by sending an email to Greg, G-R-E-G, at the, T-H-E, Master, M-A-S-T-E-R, Negotiator, Negotiator.com. And please feel free to check out articles I've written about negotiations and reading body language at www.themasternegotiator.com. Remember, you're always negotiating. Goodbye for now.
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.